Welcome, everybody, to Vampire Wednesday. This is a pre-recorded episode where we are going to be talking about the news and showing off the Salubri pre-con deck. So if you have questions, head over to Discord and you can ask them there. Matt, how are you doing tonight?
Doing all right. Thanks.
Excited to share a little bit more about this new stuff?
Yeah. I think Salubri kind of changes the way that you can play the game a little bit. So I think it's going to be an exciting addition.
It definitely feels like more of a I don't know if departure is the right word, but like more of a change in play style from what we've seen so far. And I think it's really interesting because of
Yep.
that.
Yeah. Yep.
But before we get to more Justice and Mercy and the Salubri Precon deck, there was some news last week at our special edition, 2 weeks ago, at our special
Yeah, I
edition
think 2 weeks
Renegade
ago,
Con Just Wait panel, announcing the next expansion after Justice and Mercy. So it's a little bit out of order of how we've done things in the past, but we are talking about our Gen Con plans, and we want to let people know that the Hunters and the Hunted will be available for pickup at Gen Con. That will be the newest expansion. Well, not quite expansion, really, for Rivals. Matt,
Yeah.
what's going on with Hunters and Hunted? What's different about it?
Yeah.
What sets it apart?
Well, like you say, it is an expansion in that it is expanding the game, but it is kind of a new core set with our rulebook 2.0, we like to call it.
And you've alluded
It
to that
lays
rulebook
out
a couple times so far, like the full rewrite, comprehensive,
Yep.
everything.
Yep. Full rewrite, a lot more bullet points and procedural instead of the kind of trying to be a little more thematic and talking through everything in a more conversational like the previous.
Sure.
So this one should be like just the facts, ma'am, kind of thing. But so everything will be good in there. And yeah, so it also, as you can imagine, as a new core set, basically, it's going to come with a new city. And I think we can say what that city is.
Yep. Yeah. So it's going to be Rio de Janeiro, the
Yes,
South
indeed.
American city with a lot of different influences and sort of events and settings from what we've seen so far in San Francisco and Prague.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, so we're not, we're here to talk about Justice and Mercy, but a couple of things. First of all, that the Hunters and the Hunted will not be tournament legal for Gen Con. Okay, that's a big one, so don't worry about that. As soon as you get Justice and Mercy, yeah,
it'll be available for pickup at Gen Con. And we will be using the new city deck, Rio, in our World Tour events, just as a third option to mix things up. But the main event, our Continental Conclave, will not use any Hunters and the Hunted cards.
Right. So yeah, they didn't say much 2 weeks ago about the contents, but I'm going to spoil now for those who haven't figured it out. Some people might have figured it out. The two Hunter creeds. Creeds are kind of the equivalent of clans in Vampire. The two creeds are the cross is the faithful creed, and the little magnifying glass is the inquisitive creed. So, yeah.
And kind of bearing the lead there, the Hunters and the Hunted will be two new vampire clans, as well as two hunter creeds. So this will introduce a whole new sort of way to play Rivals, where you're playing human hunters who are out there hunting down monsters, kind of fighting that darkness in the world, as well as two brand new vampire clans.
Right. I suppose we should mention the vampire clans. I think people probably figured it out by now.
Kind of running out of options.
It's the Ministry and the Kadif. So, and again, we will get to those in the future. We don't want to. We want to focus on Justice and Mercy right now. So yeah, there you go. Yeah. So hunters like to hunt monsters. Certainly, other vampires out there in this, in the city are viable targets, but they'll also have some monsters they can go after. So. but we'll get to all that in the future.
Yes, indeed. We'll do the full, breakdown, spoilers. We'll be showing some gameplay, all that sort of thing in the lead up to Gen Con. But just know we're pretty excited for this. This is still, World of Darkness has Hunter the Reckoning, which is the role-playing version with the Hunters. And this is bringing that aspect of the World of Darkness into Rivals as well. So pretty exciting stuff. But tonight we are here to talk mainly about Justice and Mercy. We've shown off the Banu Hakim pre-con deck. Now it is time for the Salubri. Salubri, as I think we've discussed a little bit, Matt, they are a very solitary clan and one of the rarest vampire clans, correct?
Correct. There's, they speculate that there's really only about 7 of. All right, I think we had a little hiccup there. We can edit out.
Yep.
All right.
I can hear you now.
Okay. So in fact, they are rather solitary. Well, that is our take on them, to make them interesting and to try to use the fact that there's said to be only maybe up to 7 Salubri left in the world. So the theory there is they don't want to be seen together. Otherwise, they could lose multiple
Sure.
percentages of their remaining members.
All your eggs in one basket kind of situation.
Right.
So if you had a coterie of 7 Salubri, like you might have a coterie of 7 Thin Bloods, that might be the entire population of the clan.
Right. Right. So we thought, or at least I thought, it'd be interesting if we actually used their scarce nature in a mechanical way. And so solitary is a new keyword that we will see in a moment.
Yes, we will touch on solitary here in just a second. I need to fix something there. There we go. So speaking of solitary, I don't know why it didn't come up, but we'll go with it. So Kiara here is the leader, and I believe this is the default version. Here is your alt art version of Kiara.
Yeah, she
will get for pre-ordering.
Yeah, she goes in the gate looking for trouble, and she comes out in full beast mode with a big fire behind her. So so she's got solitary. You can refer to, we're not gonna, solitary basically gives you bonuses when your character is alone in the coterie, or when you only control one character. So that means
and also, I believe you can only have one solitary character in play, which kind of is the mechanism that limits the number of Salubri you have in play.
Correct. Each player can only control one character with solitary, but multiple players can each have a character with solitary. That's totally fine. But you can't control 2 characters with solitary. So there you go.
So you can have a solitary like Kiara here and multiple other vampires. You just won't get the extra bonuses that solitary gives you, which we went over when we first talked about this expansion.
Yep.
Kind of showed off the rules reference card. And it gives you some action advantage, right?
Just real quick, just so you're not totally lost if you haven't seen those yet and are watching this live. Solitary, if your only character with solitary is knocked out, you can immediately recruit one, paying the full prestige. Recruit one from your hand, paying the full prestige out of turn. To keep yourself from dying to coterie elimination. So that's one thing. And the other bonus is when a vampire, if you control only one vampire and they have solitary, when that vampire plays or places an action card, they ready. So that means that you can still play 2 actions. It means you're only going to get 1 attack, but for instance, you could play an ongoing and then still make an attack, for instance. So because you're going to ready after playing that action. Yep.
And Kiara, of course, her ability, when you play or place that action card, you will also draw a card. So you're getting your action advantage and your card advantage out of her.
Yeah.
So pretty spiffy. It's interesting as I think about these vampires, like I have to break myself of the habit of thinking about the combos between them, because you're not going to have any combos between the vampires you see here tonight. They're never going to be in play together.
Right. Yep.
So Anita here is actually one of our art director, I believe, or our head of like
Yeah.
visual.
Yeah, visual
The
design
visual
director.
lead.
Yeah,
Yeah, visual design
yeah,
director.
hmm
And she is a Salubri vampire here. 6 blood
yeah,
potency.
yeah. The Salubri are big because you can imagine the smaller Salubri kind of died off over time, being that they're hunted for their blood because their blood is so tasty. But one of the things that the Salubri do really well is mending. So this is Anita's particular ability. Yeah, when this character is exhausted during your turn, you may mend 1 blood on target character, including in torpor. So that means that you might be mending other characters in the game. Not in your coterie, or you could mend Anita as well. Yep. So, yep. And of course,
and they have some
benefits.
Oops.
Yeah, as you can imagine, there'll be some. There's a healing haven and a healing agenda that we will see when we do the crypt pack cards later in the month, at the end of the month.
Indeed.
Yep.
I really love the art on this one. Is it Alzbeta?
Yeah. Alzbeta. Yeah, this is actually my favorite art in the set. She just looks so crazy, so
it's like
crazy
so
good,
haunting, and just Joyce does an amazing
haunting
job.
Is a good word. Yeah. Real nice. So again, solitary. All of these Salubri are going to be solitary. At the start of your turn, if this is the only character you control and they're at maximum blood, meaning 6 blood, unless you have bonuses on there, you gain 1 prestige. When the character plays a reaction, the affected character has +1 shield. So typically that reaction is going to be played by her to help herself, so you'll get +1 shield. But there are some reactions that can be used on other characters, and those are extra bonus for her.
And she's particularly well suited to defending, since with a 1 in each attribute, she's always going to be able to reduce the damage, beyond just that +1.
Yep. She's always got a little bit of protection. Indeed. Yep. It's really cool.
Baptiste is another Salubri vampire. He's got 2 social and 1 mental, and then double fortitude. That's the second double fortitude that we've seen. I think Anita had it too.
Yeah, Anita has it too. So interesting enough. So this is an exhaust. So you could play an action and then ready and then still exhaust. Mend 2 blood on target character, including in torpor. If you don't control the target, draw 1 card. So Salubri are fun to have around if they're not coming after you, because you're likely to reap the benefits of having them around, which is fun.
And that's another great art piece by Joyce Marrera.
Joyce Marrera. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Alona here. Alona, we're still at. We're this deep in the roster, and we're still at 5 blood potency. That tells you something about your Salubri.
Yeah. So as you saw on Alzbeta and now here on Alona, they're into reactions, and you'll see that real quick when we get to the cards. So shuffle 1 reaction from your discard pile into your library. This character has +1 shields this turn. That's the whole turn. So pretty good. And it, gets more reactions into your library to be played. And you'll see why you would want to do that soon.
And if you watch the Banu Hakim preview, you'll see that they are kind of the opposite. They don't like their plans being messed with. They do not appreciate reactions, which makes them a great kind of foil to Salubri.
Right. They have some anti-reaction tech. So
Noel does a lot of graphic design and production art for us. So this is another Renegade employee art piece from last Christmas showing up here in the actual game.
Yep, we're down to 4s this deep in. But solitary. When this character is recruited, they gain any number of attachments from a character who left your coterie this turn. So you could imagine you've put a lot of work into one of your big characters, like a 6 or a 7. If they get taken out and they've got 3 attachments on them, and you've got Noel in your hand, you got a big choice. Do I want the attachments, or do I want some big body in play? Noel can just grab all of those attachments. Yep.
That's a really nice kind of consolation prize. She's not as tough as the others, but if you had a
She
really good
might,
build,
yeah, yeah, she might
very
be
worth it.
tough with all those she might be tough with all those attachments, though. You never know.
True.
Mm-hmm.
And our last pre-con vampire is Mariki.
Mariki, yeah,
Mariki.
yep,
So again,
and
playing off the
just
reactions.
yep, simple stuff. When this character plays a reaction, gain 1 prestige. Now, why you've noticed that there's a couple of prestige gains in here? Well, they have big characters, so they're going to need it. You don't get any discount on the recruit unless you use particular havens. So you are going to, have some big bodies to replace eventually. But you'll also see they have other reasons they want to gain prestige. So depends on what you're into.
Well, let's see what their default agenda is. Army of one. So at the start of your turn, if you control
Yep.
only one character, you can gain an agenda. If you reach 13,
Yep.
you'll win. So that's going to be a kind of a slow burn. No way to stop it, really, because you
Yeah,
will
right.
always control one if you're playing, like say you're playing this pre-con deck.
Yeah. Yep.
But they need to get their other points somewhere else. So by
True.
attacking or taking mortals.
Yeah, yeah. Or, so this one is fun in that at the very start of your very first turn, you're going to gain 1 agenda, right? So
Sure.
that can be fun. Yep. So you're not going to get, you're not going to have any problems gaining that early agenda. You just need to supplement it, of course.
Mm-hmm. And then they're going to be hanging out at the Hermitage. So this kind of the standard +1 secrecy. And then you have a prestige effect here too.
Yeah. So I mentioned that, when you recruit a character, gain 1 prestige. If they're a Salubri, gain 2 instead and draw 1 faction card. So that is very good. There's the discount. It's actually not a discount. You have to have the prestige to do the recruit, but then you're going to earn some back. Yeah, and the draw 1 faction card, that is going to make sure that you have a character in your hand at all times, because if you are caught without a character in your hand and your lone character is taken out, you will lose the game if you can't do an instant recruit. So be on the lookout. Always have a character in your hand.
It's great for that, and it also just gives you it saves you having to spend the action to be constantly trying to draw back up, which is really nice.
That's true.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, nobody would think to check this place out to see if that's where the juicy Salubri are hanging out.
Maybe not, but there's a cat. Yeah, I mean, there's, they also save a little bit of action economy by not having to spend recruits, right? You can recruit when you get taken out. Of course, that means that when you recruit a new character, the one that your previous solitary is actually burned out of the game. Essentially, they're running away because being in torpor is too dangerous when there aren't a bunch of people hanging around to protect you in the basement. So
that makes sense.
They don't die; they're just gone.
Well, we talk about their love for the reactions, but they've also got some attack cards, and this is not Salubri locked. We do have a nice mental attack here. Yeah.
Of 2 minds is 5 BP, 1 base damage mental with aspects. If this attack does not defeat the target, ready the attacker. Not too shabby if you're playing with a big body, even if you're not solitary. But if you are solitary, gain 1 action if played during your turn. So that solitary keyword works whether you are actually solitary or if that solitary character is part of part of a larger coterie, of a mixed coterie.
Okay, good to know.
Right?
Good to know.
It's a keyword ability, not I am solitary and therefore, there you go.
Okay, yeah, that's quite a bit better.
Only the solitary character in your coterie would have the keyword, so there you go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then divisive here, a second mental attack, this time only a 4 blood potency. I really do like this art too. Like, it just is very thematic, and I love the kind of soft focus background on it too.
Yep.
This one's a great way to pop those mortals.
Yeah, this one's a little more different ways to go with it. +2 damage to city deck mortals. going to be pretty easy way to take out. Anyone can take out a citizen, and anyone with a little bit of mental can take out an antagonist. With Dominate, +1 damage for each retainer attached to the target. So you get their retainers to work against them a little bit.
I like the thematic tie there. You divide and conquer.
That's right.
The Search for Golconda. So I don't remember if we might have showed this one on the Renegade Con stream back in February.
I think we did, because this is one of their big things they're known for.
Other ways to score points.
Yeah, this is we wanted to make sure people understood. There are ways to score points with a single character, and Search for Golconda, you attach it to the acting character, and then if this is the only character you control, you can exhaust this character, pay 2 prestige to gain 1 agenda. So you'll be able to do that once per turn, because you're going to, you'll ready after your first action, and then as long as it's not an attack, and then you can use this. So obviously you're going to need a little bit of prestige. So that's why some of the characters have some prestige gain. You will want some for this. And of course, you can only have 1 Search for Golconda on, max 1 means 1 per character. So you're not going to be able to double it up or anything weird.
Yep. And you have the ability for Noel can grab this off of somebody who just died. Then you can save your other copies for future incarnations of your vampiric self.
So true.
Unburdening the Bestial Soul. We have Baptiste pulling a fast one on someone here and disarming them. And kind of has that effect on the Banu Hakim.
True. So this is going to be a curse that you're attaching to target character, right? It's not to your own character. And it's this character may not perform Diablerie and deals -1 damage to mortals. Aggravated damage this character would deal becomes null and aggravated. So this is this is something that the Salubri are able to do. They've got their aspects. They can see inside you. They can see the beast. They like to calm the beast. They also like to heal people. So they're kind of like your D&D cleric type. But you can imagine in the pre-con putting this on your on one of the Diablerists across the table may not make you too many friends, but it'll help you out.
Yeah, that can be really, really rough for certain guys if they're
in the pre-con there's actually in the pre-con there's only one of these, that you just see it every once in every so often, not every game, but
so you won't lock out Diablerie completely.
Yeah, you're not going to. We didn't want to completely lock anybody out from playing their fun stuff. Yeah,
that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Soul Thieving. So this is that one vampire with the really cool art. And what on earth is she doing here?
Well, she's stealing someone's soul. You can see it pulling right out of their body. So, soul thieving is another big thing that the Salubri are known for doing. And so this is also a curse, but it's going to take aspects to do it. When this character is defeated by the controller of this card, meaning the Salubri player who played it, they may, because it's Salubri, only Salubri clan lock, they may steal another card attached to this character and attach it to the character in their coterie. So this is a way to steal maybe a title or a vagrant.
Oh, I wasn't even thinking of title.
Or it can get a wraith, anything. Yep.
And until you defeat them, you're also taking up one of their attachment slots too.
That's correct. Yes, indeed.
Extra annoying.
That is true enough.
Blood Doll. So what is the Blood Doll? Is this another Salubri specialty or?
Not quite. This is kind of this is like, let's see. This is kind of like an old, like a vampire,
thrall kind of thing, or
it's like a thrall. It's like you're keeping humans around to feed on them kind of thing. It's a blood doll. The concept's been around for a while. I don't think we've seen it named too often.
Gotcha.
So I just want to get that in there. So attach the acting character and start your turn, mend 1 blood on this character. So just a easy way to mend up a little bit, which for the mending deck, the deck that wants to be mending all the time, that's going to make it real easy to get those mends in.
And when you have, 6 or 7 blood to start,
right,
you're going to have plenty of opportunity to mend while they try to whittle you down.
Plenty of time. Yes, indeed.
Study their ways. Now, this vampire is a crypt pack vampire we'll talk about in the future.
Mm-hmm.
But the card is in the pre-con, and this we talked about, and I think we've shown the discipline tokens included in this expansion. This is one of the ways to add a discipline where all the Banu Hakim were taking it away.
Correct. So there are 2 sets of 11 discipline tokens in the Justice and Mercy box. So one player can have it. Each player can have their own set of 11. Thin Blood Alchemy is not learnable, and you can't take it away from those wascally Thin Bloods. So,
gotcha.
But so that's why there's not 12. But the reason for this is not all the characters have every single discipline. So if you wanted to play a Salubri only deck, and there was a character in your hand that didn't have Fortitude, you would be very sad. So you can study their ways, put a plus Fortitude token on this card, and then if you control only one character, they will then have that Fortitude. That will make sure that cards in your deck are not useless once certain characters come out.
And the interesting thing to me is, when I lose that character, this is just an ongoing card, and when then get my new character in, they will still have that discipline.
Yeah.
I don't lose this with the character.
Right. Now, keep in mind that a stack of 11 disciplines only has 1 of each. You can't double up, but it would be pretty fun to have a plus Fortitude and a plus Dominate, and then suddenly you've got a character with Fortitude and Dominate, and guess what? Now they have 2 Fortitude and 2 Dominate. Could come in handy at certain times.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, this is vulnerable to the various ways to target ongoing cards, so it's not, foolproof, but I like that it doesn't go away when you lose that vampire, especially with the fact that the Salubri are probably going to be losing a vampire every now and then.
Yep. They have a lot of mending, though, so you never know. And
not just mending. Well. They've got the Kevlar Vest.
They also have some protection, yes. Action card attached to the acting character, maximum 1. You can only wear 1 Kevlar Vest at a time. Break from antagonists, because you only have 1 character to spread that damage around to, right?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Right. But you can also detach it as damage prevention to prevent 2 damage to this character. So if just like in the movies, once you stand up from that shotgun blast to the chest, you are required by movie law to remove your Kevlar Vest to show everyone that you had it.
I think of Call of Duty now, where you put new armor plates in every time you get shot.
Right.
The Bleeding Edge.
Yeah.
So I see a double Fortitude here, which is going to play pretty nicely with some of those Salubri.
Yep, you saw a couple double Fortitudes already, and
And of course, more ways to get it thanks to learn their ways.
Yeah, right. And of course, if you've got a blood doll, who cares about paying blood? And you've got mending as well. So 4 BP, 1 base damage. You can pay 2 blood for plus 2 damage, but if you have double Fortitude, you pay 1 blood instead. It's pretty good return.
Yeah, nice little physical attack there.
Mm-hmm.
And now into reactions, and the thing that jumps out to me, Salubri only.
Salubri only. It's a big one.
It reacts to any type of attack.
Reacts to everything. Third Eye's a charm. It's a 4 BP, 1 shield. If this attack defeats the defender, meaning the character who played it, you're going to gain 3 prestige. So someone might have thought that they had you on the ropes, and knock out your last character. Hey, you only have 3 prestige. You can't. You're not going to be able to recruit. And then you're like, bam! Now I have 6, right? But if it does not defeat the defender, you're going to deal 3 mental damage back to the attacker, and that is just straight mental damage. There's no add-ons to that. So,
but they still reduce it by their mental.
They would still reduce it by their mental, correct? So if they're coming at you,
still nasty.
Still can do some damage. Yeah, if they've got 0 mental, they're gonna be feeling that for sure.
And yeah, I mean, this way it's kind of a win-win.
Indeed.
Look me in the eyes. Another reaction. This time only for physical, and it looks like it's going to give them a fear token. Fear. If you don't remember what that does, it prevents you from readying. So
at the start of your next turn, prevents you if you're exhausted. You don't ready, right? Yep. This is reaction number 2 here. So physical, if it's a 3 BP 1 shield, put a fear token on the attacker. If it's played by solitary, draw 1 card. If you have aspects, you may play an additional reaction. Wow, you're going to need a lot of reactions to do some of these, huh?
Can I play Look Me in the Eyes?
Yep.
Use my aspects to play an additional Look Me in the Eyes.
Yep.
Use my aspects to play a 3rd one and then draw 3 cards.
Oh yeah.
And 3 defense.
Yeah, and then you could also throw in a Third Eye's a Charm if you so wish on the end, because you can keep going. Yeah. Yep. I mean, it's a lot of card play, but you'll keep drawing.
So. And the fear tokens being stacked won't help or hinder in any additional way. But it's just I don't know. I don't know if it's good. It's possible though.
Yeah.
And another reaction: a kiss before dying.
Yeah.
So this implies to me that Salubri are able to open and shut their third eye independently. And that's interesting. My son can't even wink, so I don't think he can manage 3 eyes.
I guess they can. I don't know the exact lore on that, but
so this is their social option.
This is their social reaction. It's a 2 BP 1 shield. Deal 1 aggravated damage to the attacker. So that's just an automatic. Here you go. Lose 1 blood, right? If they only had 1, they're going to be burned. But it's a solitary, draw 1 card. With Fortitude, you may play an additional reaction. So there you go.
Now, deal 1 aggravated damage. That's not reduced by anything other than like a Vagrant would do it.
Kevlar Vest or Vagrant. Yeah, anything that can reduce reduce damage or prevent or whatever. But not attributes. So
man, these reactions are spicy.
Oh yeah,
especially because you can chain and kind of we already have some reactions that are big splashy effects, like Bad Reflections, a really classic one that can turn what you think is a big attack into, oh no, I'm in trouble. And this is a very different way of going about it, where you're going to use multiple cards, but you can kind of customize the effect.
True enough.
And I'm guessing we have a mental and ranged reaction. So this is catching the arrow right in front of their face. Nice.
True enough. Catching it in front of your face. Because the mental stat is a little more prevalent in them, that we figured that the ranged you're least likely to be attacked mentally. We didn't want to have a 4th one in this trio. So we added range to this one, but it also is a 1 BP 1 shield. And that 1 BP is very important for the top line of the card. Put a -1 BP token on the attacker. So Thin Bloods are very good, can make good use of -1 BP tokens. So the BP value on this one is easy enough even for a Thin Blood to play.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
another way to get an unexpected kill, because if you can chain multiples of these, a 2 or even 3 blood potency vampire will just die.
Correct. Indeed. Solitary, draw a card, dominate, you may play an additional reaction. So you can keep it going.
That's hilarious. And you can even use these, I guess, Oh, no, it doesn't work together necessarily with like a kiss, the previous card, because damage and -1 BPs are kind of unrelated. And I guess if you did the -1 BP first, then the damage, it works. It
Ye-
accumulates in the way you want it to. If you do it the other way around, it doesn't
Right.
hurt anything.
Correct, but they actually aren't part of the same. You wouldn't be playing them during the same attack though.
You're
So
right, because they're different
yeah,
types of reaction. Okay.
right.
And I don't know if this is the last one. Just a taste? No, there's still one more after this. So just a
Okay.
taste. We haven't seen this vampire, I don't think. So maybe a crypt pack
Um,
option.
I forget. I forget.
We'll find out.
Yeah,
This is a
yeah.
reaction special, and it's only for the
Reaction
characters with
special.
solitary.
Yeah, may only be played by a character with solitary, whether they're a lone wolf or whether they're part of a mixed coterie. You may play this to aid any character. So this is similar to like heightened senses. You can play it, to help somebody else out. Aid any character. Target defender in the streets, mends 2 blood. So if you are looking to keep someone alive and you've got an agenda that triggers when you mend somebody, this is another card in your arsenal.
And character, so that does not work for mortals or antagonists.
Correct. Correct. Yes, indeed. Which
so you can't use
they
it to
don't
stop
mend
hunt the hunters or something.
Yeah,
Good point.
they
Yeah,
don't mend anyway. Yeah, the mortals don't mend anyway. They're just an all or nothing. So, yep.
Makes sense.
You got it.
And our last pre-con card. Make sure I'm in the right window. The Grudge.
The Grudge. All right. Social attack, 3 BP, 1 damage inherent. +1 damage for each of your characters who is in torpor or has been burned this game. If you have suffered diablerie, meaning that one of your characters is currently
has been
diablerized, then all of this attack's damage becomes aggravated. So keep in mind that when you're losing, when your solitary characters are defeated and you recruit a new one, the old one does not go to torpor; it gets burned. So in a very bloody game, you might have 3, maybe 4 characters. If you recruited smaller ones, you might have 3 or 4 characters, with solitary burned out of the game. And this attack is called the Grudge for a reason.
Yeah, I love the thematic.
Yeah,
I love the thematic link of this and how. Yeah, this is the mess around and find out kind of card where you've been beating up on me all game and now I'm going to get you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, awesome. I mean, it looks to me like Salubri has a lot of kind of fun new options, very different play style, and of course there's some even more variability in the crypt pack, which we'll talk about here.
Yep. You'll see some more of their healing ways, and they also have things they can do with afflictions, so that'll be fun.
Yes, yeah. So a lot of fun stuff there, and just remember, Justice and Mercy is up for pre-order right now. Pre-orders will get the 2 alternate art leader cards at no extra cost. And as well, your local game store can apply for the early release program and get the expansion 2 weeks before the main retail release. Mm-hmm. So they can have a nice little release event. You guys can get your cards first. Works out for everybody. So please encourage your local store to go to vampirerivals.com/early and sign up for that early release program. If you have a store that's running Rivals, it's free. It doesn't cost them anything. They can do it through their distributor. Have them sign up and participate, please. But we have one more thing to show you. We've been showing off some of the Prince art over these last couple months, and we're going to continue doing that with, I believe, a Banu Hakim. This is Phil Geitke. He was I think, Prince of Inglewood, Ohio. One of our, maybe our second Prince ever last year. And he is, I believe the character is Drac. And this is by Joyce as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, Phil, here is your character art. Going to be a nasty Banu Hakim showing up in game later this year. And then for something for the Hekata, John Urbanek here, and I can only assume that must be John's dog. that he
Must
provided
be.
a picture of to go with. And I love the duster and the sheriff's badge.
Yeah.
So Prince John here seeing his art, and then
Mm-hmm.
last but not least, a new Ravnos. This is Chris Bergeron, and Chris just won a Clan Clash event down at Meeple Madness near Atlanta. So we have him. He's both a prince and a primogen.
Nice.
And yeah, Chris is rocking out there with his guitar.
Mm-hmm.
So all three of you guys, Phil, John, and Chris, I hope you enjoy getting a peek at your art here. And then, of course, you get to see what you would actually do in game a little bit later on. So we'll have some more things to preview later this year before Gen Con. But that is all for tonight. We will be back on March 28th to go through the Crypt Pack and wrap up our Justice and Mercy previews. We will be talking more about the Hunters and the Hunted in the weeks and the months to come here before Gen Con. But that is up for Gen Con pickup. You can pre-order through that and then just pick it up from our little room, room 139 at any point during the convention, and not have to wait in line at our booth or anything like that. So highly recommend you do that if you're going to be at Gen Con. And then, of course, we'll be using that Rio City deck in some of the events at the convention and just having a good time with that. So, Matt, thanks for joining us and talking about the cards and giving the insights into the mechanics and all that sort of stuff. And everybody else, thanks for tuning in. We'll be back in 2 weeks.